Man, I'm excited about today's episode. I got my good friend, Scott Eddy, who's actually one of our board of advisors for the Hotel Guide, but he's actually one of the top 15 influencers, travel influencers in the world. He is where I want to be. Always traveling, always doing something. Scott, how are you doing this morning?
I am doing good. How are you?
I'm
And you're
doing
getting ready for your wedding. You got to be doing unbelievable, no?
it. The countdown is on. Yes,
Countdown is on.
we're balancing business, a little bit of travel, and then having a wedding at the same time. So, yeah, I try and keep a smile on because we got a lot of good things going on. But yeah, thank you for that. It's
Where is the honeymoon going to be?
We're actually starting in Las Vegas, and then we're going to venture out from there. We've got a couple of ideas, haven't finalized those yet,
Oh,
but that's where we're going to start, and then we'll kind of go from there. So it'll be fun. That's the bottom line.
honeymoon on the fly. Let's go.
Hey, I learned a little bit from you from our conversations. You know, sometimes you just go and see where life takes you, and
Agreed.
have computer will travel. But today's episode is going to be a little bit different, a little bit fun. Normally, I'm interviewing my guests and asking them about themselves. We've had you on for, I think you're my first guest that's been on for 3 times, so that's pretty cool right there.
Very
But we're
cool.
going to talk a little bit about luxury travel. This upcoming edition, we're talking luxury travel. We're going to have that in our magazine. I know you've been dealing a lot in that market as well. And so I thought, you know what better person to kind of bring on, talk a little bit about what luxury travel is, maybe best practices for marketing, and then how all of that stuff aligns with what we're doing. So let's just jump into a couple of questions here. But for you, what does actually luxury travel mean to you, kind of in today's world?
Luxury travel and for the most part, ultra luxury as well. It's less about the gold-plated everything and more about intention. It used to be about the flash, the marble floors, the white glove service, status symbol. Now it's about space. It's about time, connection, personalization. It's having someone remember your name, your preferences, and how you take your coffee. It's staying somewhere that feels like it was built just for you, not mass produced. Quiet luxury is winning because people want to feel seen, not
Yeah.
sold to. In my world, I come from investment banking world. So in my world, ultra luxury isn't always a, a $10,000 a night villa. It could be an investment banker that works 110 hours a week and is all he wants to do is take off his shoes and dip his toes in the sand. That
Mhm.
could feel luxurious to somebody who is stuck in an office in front of a computer on the phone all day long.
No, definitely, and I agree, and I love you actually answer my next question, how it's evolved. But it's true because people are talking about the experience in travel across the board.
Yeah,
But when you're talking about luxury and ultra luxury, people have this mystique of like, oh my God, it's this and that, but it is so much more about the experiential side of things. But tell me a little bit about how luxury travelers are really prioritizing their experiences over like the possessions and stuff like that.
it's everything. Personalization is no longer a perk, it's the price of entry. If I'm paying $2,000 a night, I better not be treated like I'm booking number 2,486. The brands that win are the ones who remember what you like, who you are, and who made your experience feel impossible to replicate. As for exclusivity, it shifted from valet ropes hold on. Can we cut that out?
Yeah,
As
yeah.
for exclusivity, it shifted from velvet ropes to tailored access.
Oh yeah.
People want the thing their friends have done. Wow, what's wrong with me? People want the thing their friends haven't done yet, the
Yeah.
private island, the off menu dinner, the secret wine tasting with the owner. It's not about being flashy, it's about being first and feeling like it was curated just for you.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big things you're talking about is well, people just want to be feel valued. One of the greatest things is really like when talked about at the very beginning was them remembering your name. That that's what every person wants. People
Such
want
a
their
little
name.
thing.
It's the number one thing you want to hear is your name. obviously in a good way. Uh, but especially when you're on vacation, I've been to places where the valet remembered my name, and I was like, how do you know that? That's why, like, even when for me as a traveler, whenever I see someone's name tag, I actually respond to them with their name. Hey, thank you, Scott, or whatever. That way, there's that value in that name and that personalization. It's so important nowadays. It's ironic that in a hospitality industry, sometimes we're not as hospitable as we should be,
Yeah,
which is crazy. Um,
yeah.
Speaking of luxury, speaking of hospitable, speaking of those kind of things, you're so well traveled. I love keeping up with you, and especially from the social media side of things and everything like that. But what's one unforgettable luxury experience you've had, or if you've got a couple, even that too, that maybe could kind of resonate with our audience in terms of this is how it should be done.
Honestly, so one time I was in Cabo and I was staying at this very, very high-end resort, and we were at dinner with the GM the night before, and he happened to know that I love sunrises. And at dinner, he said, "We have something very special for you. Be in the lobby at 4 a.m." So we were like excited, like I'm pumped, get dressed, like go down. And we go down, and he arranged this sunrise breakfast on a private yacht. And it wasn't the yacht that made it special. It was the silence. It was no emails, no crowds, just the ocean, that perfect mimosa and a crew that already knew what we wanted without me saying a word. The chef came out, we chatted for 5 minutes, brought out something custom, then disappeared. No fanfare, just a thoughtful execution. That's real luxury. When the details are so well handled, you don't even notice until after everything's over.
Mhm.
I mean, can you imagine sitting at the arc in the end of at the end of Cabo? We're just sitting off the Cabo Arch, and we're just sitting there watching the sunrise come up. There's not 1,000 tourist boats out yet. There's not, like just all the madness that Cabo has. It was just silence and it was just the perfect atmosphere.
You
It was
know,
unbelievable.
that yeah, that makes me want to go to that place too. I mean, it was
Yeah, it was
amazing.
great.
I mean, I think, not saying that that was a little thing, because that was a big thing, but the fact that the GM knew what you wanted
Mm.
and surprised you with something
Yeah,
is is what takes luxury to another level. And
yeah.
granted, not every property has to do that or has those abilities like a Cabo does, but a little thing can still add up to something very big for a guest. And look, you're talking to it, telling us about it, telling our listeners about it, and they're understanding what luxury really could be. So that's really cool what you're bringing those things up. And I think the personalization is so huge for everybody. I think communication and listening. I think listening as a hotelier is so important, because you're actually taking that and figuring out, what does Scott want? What, because I think we give away our clues to people, and but sometimes people don't listen, and they're listening to reply, not listening to be, to hear it. And so, for instance, this GM was right on point when it came to you and what you're talking about. Pretty
Yeah.
good stuff. But I know you're a marketing guru when it comes to social media, when it comes to not only your personal brand, which I love what you've been doing recently with your personal brand, but I also know that you get hired by these luxury properties, cruises, DMOs, because they need to figure out a way to connect with the audiences the right way. You've been putting out some great content yourself talking about that. It's not just a photo, it's not just the image, it's what are you doing. I love your post a few days ago. It was about the brochure. If your brochure is who you are, that's not who you are. And so, what is the most effective way to kind of help market luxury uh, properties or places on social media nowadays?
First off, it's storytelling. It's not selling. That's the golden rule. Luxury and ultra luxury audiences, they don't want to be marketed to. They want to be inspired, educated, emotionally moved. The most effective content feels editorial, not promotional. You
Mhm.
need high end visuals, of course. It's the narrative that drives just conversions,
Yeah.
basically. The behind the scenes of the chef forage in ingredients. The story of the family who's owned the estate for generations, the stillness of the morning view from a private villa. And most importantly, you have to segment your platforms. Instagram is your digital showroom. LinkedIn is where you speak to the decision makers and travel advisors. TikTok is where you quietly test virality in ways that don't cheapen your brand. Every post should whisper, not scream, because in ultra luxury, subtle is power.
Oh, I really love that. Every post should whisper, and that's opposite the antithesis of all these other marketing options for people. It's one of the.
What's funny is a lot of people when I talk to very high end brands, a lot of time they're like, "Oh yeah, but my audience is not on Instagram. They're not on TikTok. They're not on." Are you kidding me? Some of the most active platforms, some of the most winningest platforms on social media are the ultra luxury.
Mhm.
Look at Chanel, look at Gucci, look at Louis Vuitton, look at Versace is killing it on social media.
Yeah.
Like these people have no idea.
How hard is it to educate a luxury brand on the power of social media? Not only the power of social media, but the right way to use social media.
How hard is it? It's
Yeah.
like, hello, Mr. GM. It's like talking to a wall. I mean, honestly, most of them have not gotten it yet.
Yeah.
It's, I try to educate as much as possible. I try to do what I can, but I am not going to fight an uphill battle so you're successful.
Yeah.
So back in the day when I first started, I was coming out of investment banking. I was trying to turn every no into a yes. I was so confident that I could turn anybody around. But then I figured out that even if I got that yes, they were only going to stay with me for a short term. They only
Yeah.
were saying yes because I got them in the ether and got them so excited. But now I only want to get into bed with brands that want it.
Sure.
So I don't battle. I present a logical like proposal for what we should do together. And if they're not all in, fine. Have a great day.
Yep. It's ironic. We have the same philosophy with the hotel guide as you do with your brands. I used to, for 32 years, we've been doing this, right? And at first it was like, you're a young entrepreneur, go beat the streets, get everybody, close
Yeah.
everybody to get everybody. And now I'm like, I don't want everybody. I'm very selective of who's in our magazine. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's the opposite for, a business owner. You're like, why wouldn't you take that business? Well, I don't necessarily want to be aligned with everyone. And
Business is not good business.
no, 100%. And it's funny because you learn the hard way a little bit. But I love what you're saying, how you are like, I have 100% confidence in you and I to close just
Mm.
about anybody we come in contact with.
Well,
but,
I can, yeah. I mean, you could get a
but
short
that's,
term yes from anybody.
but that's not the goal. That's not the goal of
Correct.
a successful
Right.
business. And we've learned that the hard way and in the right way. So I love some of your tidbits with regards to the marketing. I love how some of the luxury, not just luxury, but some of the other destinations just haven't got the power of social media, how to use it properly. Any last thoughts that you can lend to our audience about maybe luxury, how they're marketing or anything like that? And again, how can people find you?
So I'm easy to find. I'm Mr. Scott Eddy on every platform. And I reply to every comment and reply to every DM. You can attest to that.
I can attest to
That's
that. Hey, let me just say, when we collab on a post, my phone is dinging, 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 and I'm like, I'm at lunch and I'm like, oh, Scott and I just collab. So yep, that's really good. I know firsthand how it works.
at the end of the day, I and right now the way AI has basically shoved aside SEO. Okay, this is the way I look at it. Google SEO, like if you're spending $1 for SEO right now, you're wasting your money. Because right now, with the way social media is set up and the way search scrapes social first before any kind of SEO, they scrape three things. They scrape the words coming out of your mouth, the captions on the screen, and your caption that's written. So as long as those are sprinkled with the correct keywords and the right content, not to sell, to tell stories,
Yeah.
but effective storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not a problem sprinkling keywords, the right keywords into your stories, as long as it doesn't affect the story, if that makes sense.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
So these days, more than ever, you should be posting as much as possible, telling as many stories as you possibly can, because there's not a platform out there that does chronological anymore.
Yeah.
LinkedIn-ish, but not really.
Mm-mm.
I was just scrolling on LinkedIn right before this. I saw one post that was 8 days ago, and then the next post was 1 hour ago.
Yep.
So it doesn't even show you when things were posted.
Mm-hmm.
So for
Facts.
me, sometimes I post 3 posts in a row on TikTok because you're never going to know, you're never going to see it. It's based on interest, it's not based on chronological. So why would you want as much content as possible pushed out there?
Yep.
So
Yep.
just don't be afraid to test. At the end of the day, don't be afraid to test. If something fails, fail in public. Don't worry about failing in private or public. Fail in public because it shows that you're human.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily a failure. Just
Mm-mm.
because you think it is, it's not necessarily a failure.
No, I agree. I think that's authenticity in a brand right there. People don't want perfect brands or perfect people. They want people, things that they can resonate with. And reality is we're going to make mistakes. And people are going to go like, you know what? I've done
Yeah,
that before. I'm going to give
yeah,
them some grace and let me see
yeah,
what else is going on in that
yeah,
world. But
yeah,
man,
exactly.
you have dropped some truth bombs here at the end, and you've dropped some good stuff throughout the content as well, Scott. Again, as always, thank you for being on our Travel Talk podcast today.
Appreciate you having me, man.
Awesome. Hey, to all of our listeners, readers, followers out there, you know the drill, thehotelguy.com. Like and subscribe. Please share this as well. This is some great content by Scott Eddy, one of the foremost individuals, not only in travel and tourism, but in the social media landscape as well. He's got a lot of great insights to it. I'm honored to have him on our board of advisors for the Hotel Guide too. But like we also say is travel, make memories. And until next time, everybody take care.